the channel, we got a classic case of the Beauty and the Beast with Grapplers and Gimmicks, Rick the Model Martel, and Damien Demento.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, back again with another retro wrestling unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got something extra special. We got an old friend returning to the action figure game in Rick the Model Martel, and a first time ever action figure in Damien Demento. But of course, for all your Grapplers and Gimmicks needs, head over to grapplersandgimmicks.com, pick these two up, tell them Kyle sent you. Why wouldn't you? And of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And we're going to kick it off with Damien Demento. First time ever in the line, Damien Demento. First time ever action figure, more like it. And Damien Demento, obviously not a huge superstar, but there was a moment in time, a short window on the playground where we all believed this guy could be something. This guy could be going somewhere. And I remember seeing him before he was Damien Demento. As a little kid at my local grocery store, I'd get the PWI magazines, what was it, Ringsider, and some of those, I'd buy them, or at worst, I would look at them while my dad was shopping or something. I'd be thumbing through, see what's going on in the wrestling world. Loved those magazines back then. But I would see him there, and I'd be like, man, this guy looks like he's something. Was he like Tri-State Wrestling or something maybe back in the day? I remember you'd see the top 10s and stuff. You're like, oh, you couldn't see it. You'd have to use your imagination a little bit. It was a wild time, let me tell you. But Damien Demento was one that really caught my eye, and I thought he was going to be a lot bigger than he was. Obviously, most known as, in this day, 2025, as being in the main event of the first ever Monday Night Raw against The Undertaker, of course, and that was his most famous match, and that's really what he's been remembered for. However, until now, as Grapplers and Gimmicks are giving him his due, giving him an action figure, and I absolutely love it. I would love more figures of Damien Demento, but I do appreciate everybody that had a cup of coffee in the WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW, whatever it may be, to get at least one action figure. I don't know, maybe that's just me. That's a long-time collector there speaking. But I love the looks of this thing right here. Very, very cool. Very Hasbro-esque, obviously, in the packaging. We know the Grapplers and Gimmicks style by now. You got the big old G right there. There's old Damien dementing us right there. And then, of course, he does have with the Demented Drop. And he's got the Hulk Hogan Series 1, Ultimate Warrior Series 2, whatever you want to call it, positioning of the body right there. On the back, got the cross-cell, of course. A little bit of blur, black and white like we usually see. Anything extra for Mr. Demento here? Not really. Damien Demento, Quang, Papa Shango, and The Godfather is the cross-sell. Of course, check out all the unboxings on the channel. But let's get Damien Demento out of the package here. And always a battle getting these retros from all these companies off the card. Always try to keep the card as nice as I can. It's just not possible most of the time is what I've been finding out. But I try. I try my hardest. And that's all you can do. If you try your hardest at the end of the day, see you later. Goodbye. You got to look yourself in the mirror. See you later. Goodbye. But it's time to get demented with Damien Demento. And I'm going to take off his apparatus. Is it a shawl? We're going to go with a shawl right here. And we do got Mitch from Grapplers and Gimmicks sitting over there with Todd McFarlane on the couch today. Mitch, good to have you over here. Good to see you on the couch right here. Is this an apparatus, a shawl, or a cape? Okay, you're saying no to the cape. I'm going to agree no to the cape. Todd McFarlane, is it a cape? No cape. This is not a cape for any of us. Now it gets a little interesting. Are we going to call this a shawl? It feels a little girly for a guy like Damien Demento, but can we all agree it's a shawl? Todd's shrugging his toes over there. What about you, Mitch? You're gonna go with it? Shawl? We're going shawl right here. It's a shawl. Somebody call shawl, y'all. That's a local cut right there. But looking very good right here with the apparatus, the shawl. We've all agreed it's a shawl. It's got the spikes on it in white, the teeth going there, the black, I guess we'll call it fur. Looking very cool. And now he could have went the style of being soft goods for this. You get some yarn or something draped down. I think this was the way to go. I do prefer this. Heck of an accessory right here. Now, once again, this isn't The Undertaker. This isn't the Ultimate Warrior. It's Damien Demento. But how toyetic is this figure? How cool is this figure look? It's just a wild thing. It's a wild thing for sure. Happy to have this in the collection. But we got that, taking that off. Now we got him going on. He looks like one of the Mongolian tag team members back in the day. It's kind of what he reminds me of here. Got some wild facial hair going on. Something that might make Dimebag Darrell blush once upon a time. And yeah, you're right. There's no blushing from Dimebag Darrell, I don't think. Some crazy hair in the back. Mitch, you're on the couch today. You should grow your hair like this. I think that'd be a good look for you. Get that hair in the back. You might want to work on that. I don't know. Pro tip out there. Pro hair tip there. He does got some bands around the bicep there like a young Ultimate Warrior. He's got those hands, of course. He's going to play patty cake with somebody. He's going to give him a gorilla press slam at the same time. He got some of that fringe around the wristbands, looking very nice there. And then he almost went to Eternia, but it looks like he might have went to the Dollar General in Eternia, as he's got a loincloth, but he didn't go full loincloth. What, Mitch? Mitch is saying this is actually not a loincloth. This is real fur. Oh, well, who knew? Who knew? But good eye by Mitch there, of course. He looks deep into these figures. We know how he does. Got the fringe on the boots as well. Black knee pads, black boots on him as well. Like a young Stone Cold Steve Austin, of course, before Stone Cold Steve Austin, almost looking like it here. But pretty in black. And his arms do go all the way around, head back and forth, side to side, waist articulation, the usual articulation. Hastel toy 2025, no pegs in the feet there, so he's not going to be on a stand or anything. But he's ready to fight. He's ready for a challenge. He's ready to be in the main event against The Undertaker. And I got the Hasbro Undertaker series, whatever series it is, his first version, we'll call it. That's one thing. It's weird. I never have been good with my Hasbro series. I mean, I know Series 1, I know Series 2, Series 3, but after that, it gets really fuzzy for me for whatever reason. But a good size difference here. This works pretty good for me as far as Undertaker and Damien Demento. We can reenact Monday Night Raw Episode 1 if you want to. But what I'm going to reenact is a little arrogance here, and that's going to be Rick the Model, the Martel here, an all-timer. If you were a kid of my age back in the day, Rick Martel was a big, big deal. And if you're a little bit older than me, you go back to his early days and, of course, his AWA title reign once upon a time. But for me, I really got into him in the Strike Force years. Him and Tito Santana, a blood feud that never really happened for the most part. And then Rick Martel getting the arrogance and going into the model, and that's where his sweet spot was to me. However, I was always surprised by his late run in WCW against Booker T's of the world. Always enjoyed that Rick the Model Martel as well, or just Rick Martel then. But the model was the sweet spot. So many cool moments. Probably the most famous moment for me was the Jake the Snake Roberts feud, the blindfold match. Never forget that one, of course. But a lot of good stuff with Rick Martel over the years. So always enjoyed him as a performer, a guy that needs more action figures. And we know Big Rubber guys have one coming out. Obviously, Mitch has this one here. Be interested to see what the future holds for Rick the Model Martel. But it holds into a Hasbro style figure right here in the retro line. And of course, we'll compare it to his prior Hasbro edition once upon a time there as well. Grapplers and Gimmicks looking very good. You got the little scarf over the top there. I guess it's not really a scarf. I guess it's a sweater is what it is. Very, very ritzy. He was like Zach Morris before Zach Morris is what he is. Beautiful image there of Rick Martel, of course, looking good. Ages 18 and up on this one here. You 17-year-olds, let me tell you, especially you 17-year-old females, you can't handle Rick the Model Martel. Todd, what? You could handle him, Mitch? Mitch says he could handle him too. So, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as they always say. Real vintage style figure with arrogance splash. Of course, a splash of arrogance. And I remember, man, I'd like to smell what this arrogance smells like, because they would spray it and they'd say, oh, it smells horrible and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I wonder what it really smells like. I'd love to know. Never found out. Rick Martel right here. Doesn't say the model anywhere on here, so it just says Rick Martel. Nothing else going on in the back here outside of what we've seen before. Rick Martel, Quang, Papa Shango, Godfather on the back. Sculpted wrist tape, arrogance spray accessory, which is a huge, huge attention to detail here that I absolutely love. Can't wait to see this arrogance. Can't wait to get him off the card is what I'm trying to do, but it's not easy here. It's a fine line between tough to get off the card and easy to get off the card. And I really struggle with some of these retros as we've seen. And I just said it with Damien Demento. Going to say it again now. I want to keep these cards as clean as possible. I don't know. Maybe these companies should just run carding without the bubble attached to it, and they'll just sell the carding. There might be some interest in that. I don't know. I might dabble in something like that. I might dabble in some arrogance if I can get it out as well. Oh, come on, arrogance. It's being very arrogant trying to get out of the package right here. There we go. There it is. And see you later. Goodbye. Off to the side. Coming at you, Mitch and Todd. Of course, Mitch from Grapplers and Gimmicks. Special guest on the couch for this episode. Great to have you once again. See you later. Goodbye. And now we're diving into the arrogance, of course. Very cool. It does say arrogance on here, so there's no mistaking it for anything else. It's wild that anybody ever use these. This almost looks like something for like bug control is what it looks like. You know, you're spraying for the ants or something like that. That's what this reminds me of. And I guess you can't just have a little bottle, a squirt bottle. It looks a little strange. So I guess I understand why they did that. But did anybody ever do cologne or perfume out of something like this? Is that a real thing, or was it just WWE taking it to the next level, giving it like a bug spray type thing? No matter how you slice it though, very, very cool. Love to see that there. Now we get Rick, the model, the Martel. He's got the curly hair here. Now, I like my Martels in different ages and different ways. I actually prefer Rick Martel with the slick back kind of hair going on, almost like his late WCW stuff or his Hasbro. However, he did have this curly hair. He did have it. It's on my shirt right here. It's almost like the same figure for my shirt. How about that? Coincidence? I think not, but we do get Rick Martel. Glasses sculpted in. I do not hate that once again. Feels very Hasbro-esque to me. Hair is like a poodle, of course, once again there. Articulation back and forth on the head, arms all the way around, waist articulation, so we know what we're getting right there. 2 fists of fury for Rick Martel. For once, not keeping it clean. He was a bad guy after all, and you do fit the arrogance in his hand. You got the hole there. Put that right in. Very cool to be able to do that. Always fun to be able to store everything on the figures here. Now, not sure about this sweater over the top. It looks like the sweater is not removable on this one, so I know some people probably would want to remove that. It is a floating piece, but you can't slide it over his head. Now, you could take the time to dismantle the figure and pop the head off, but I ain't doing that. I'm not doing it, Mitch. I'm not going to do it here. But the sweater not going to come off on this one. Not coming off, unfortunately. But it does look good. It does look like something Martel would have. It's almost like you also need that tennis racket. I think there were some good vignettes with him with a tennis racket once upon a time. Would look very cool. Now, I love the blue color here. Of course, I loved him in the pink as well with the Hasbro. And I should just get that Hasbro out right now. Put that one right there. I love the pink of the Hasbro, so I love that he went something different color-wise, and the pink and blue, to me, are his most iconic, and a lot of that is because of the Hasbro in pink, but looks very, very nice, and I like that it is really different version of Rick Martel. They're both Rick Martel, but they feel very different at the same time, so that is very cool. Got those laces there. He always had those iconic laces, too, always drooping around there on old Rick Martel. But a very, very fun figure. $1 million smile on Rick Martel. You'd expect nothing less from a model, that is for sure. So very fun between these two here. And very cool in a lot of different ways. Rick Martel, a classic from way back when. A moment in time in Damien Demento. I mean, which one do you prefer? It really is a toss-up. I obviously like Rick Martel's work a heck of a lot more than Damien Demento. But there's always something special about getting a first time in the line figure and a first time in the line on the couch with Mitch from Grapplers and Gimmicks here today. So a wild time throughout on this one, but a fun one to have. Both these guys definitely welcome in my collection. But what about your collection? Are they welcome in yours? Well, yeah, they're in yours, Mitch. We know that. You made these, so of course you're going to have them in your collection. Todd, 2 thumbs up. Oh, 2 toes up. Sorry. There we go. But let me know your thoughts on Damien Demento and Rick the Model Martel in the comments down below. Be interested to hear your thoughts on these two. And where does your brain go when you think of Rick the Model Martel? Be interesting to hear that as well. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and my other YouTube channel. 2 channels, of course, with videos and content every single day. Check out Patreon, YouTube channel memberships to support the channel and to get early access to all the videos as well. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is also my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show. Check it out wherever podcasts are found, video cast on YouTube. You guys know where to find all that stuff, of course. But for Rick, the Model, the Martel, and Damien the Demento, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we going to dance or are we going to play?